Hey, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Some more. It's Politics with Laura here. Okay, there is a lot to talk about. Tim Walz, and shall I say, Minnesota. Wait a minute. Soda. Wait a minute. Soda. What is going on? Why am I? This is a little strange. Oh no, how can I fix this? Okay. This is not supposed to work like this. Oh my goodness. 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 What is. Oh, okay. All right. All right. I got it fixed. All right. All right. I got it fixed. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and get into the thick of it. Let's get into the thick of it. Okay. Tim Walz. Mayor Frey. Oh, I mean, they got a lot coming at them. President Trump is like in your face, in your face. And he's like, since Tim Walz or Mayor Frey, they're not doing anything, I'm going to do it for you. Now, Minnesota, I have to say, is quite interesting. All right, there is about, how can I say, about 400,000 immigrants in Minnesota. And there's about 100,000 just Somalis in Minneapolis. And that's where Mayor Frey had 3 terms. And if you see the wild stuff that has gone on in that area, you would stop and say, okay, for let me see, for every 10 Minnesotans, there's 1 immigrant. But when you go to Minneapolis, for every, I think out of 10 voters or 10 people, there are like 3 Somalis. No, sorry, 2 Somalis, right? So it's very interesting because there just alone is a lot of immigrants. I believe there's about 1 million people living in oh my goodness, excuse me. Minneapolis. There's a lot going on there. So let me bring some stuff up. This is not good. I need to get some tea. Sorry. But let me give you a better insight, just so you could see, to make sure that I have it right. I don't want to go off the top of my head because I don't want to mess it up. I don't wish to do that. All right, because I got a lot to show you. I'm just like, this right here is some interesting stuff. All righty. Okay, here. All right. I'm sorry, there's 495,000 foreign born in Minnesota. Okay. And that is a big number. That right there is a big number. And here you see Minnesota's largest immigrant group. Spanish is is the most common non-English language spoken in Minnesota. And that right there is very true. But however, we're just focusing on Africa, namely Somalians. I'm just like, look, it wasn't until Ilhan Omar said, white men are the most dangerous people in the United States. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Ilhan? Wait a minute. What are you doing? That right there is not smart. Why are you doing this? Why? Right? So she has been how can I say, Ilhan Omar, she has been just whoa. Oh man, there's always something going on with her. But let's see the percentage. That's 9%. There was something else. Oh, right here. Now here, all immigrants, right? There's 470,000. And here you have Canadians, 11,000, Chinese, Ecuadorians, 6,000, Ethiopians, there's 22,000. Not Filipino, where is it? Indian, Kenyan is 11,000 Kenyans there. Liberian, 12,000. So it looks like that there's like 4 African groups there, but here Somalians are 42,000. So between Somalia, Ethiopia are the biggest, okay? Just want to make sure that I showed you that. So, because this right here is very important. It is very, very important. So with this, with having a large Somalian, population, and there are 4 groups from Africa, and they happen to be large. I mean, even Russian is not that large, right? But the Somalians, 42,000, Vietnamese, 16,000. So just to give a visual on that one, because that right there is very important to what I'm about to present. Because I had to take a step back. I'm like, wait a minute, this right here is some interesting stuff. Very, very, very interesting. And like, I just got to show you. I just have to show you, because you can't make it up. You can't make it up. Like here, this right here happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and this happened in Minneapolis, just so you could get a. So fair use, Minnesota News. This is a top story 2 years ago, and this right here was on 4th of July, and they have a strange way of celebrating 4th of July. Here we go.
2 teenagers have been hit with felony charges for their role in the 4th of July mayhem across Minneapolis.
Both young men accused of shooting fireworks at Minneapolis squad cars while officers were inside. Our Paul Bloom is here now tracking the latest developments. So, Paul, this is likely just the start of criminal consequences more than a dozen people might face.
Amy, a total of 16 were arrested in the madness late on the night of the 4th across Minneapolis. The suspects charged today, 17 and 18 years old. The charges: riot and assault with a dangerous weapon. Of course, the dangerous weapon here, fireworks. Cell phone videos shared to social media capturing the chaos and mayhem of July 4th going off the rails in some pockets of Minneapolis the other night. In this incident, the young male suspect stands there blasting a Minneapolis police squad with what appears to be Roman candles. Authorities report several such incidents as law enforcement attempted to control crowds of 200 to 300 strong around Bede Makaska and Boom Island Park.
And it seemed like it's that type of, sort of rapid fire type fireworks. It left some, like soot marks on the hood of the radio car.
By Thursday afternoon, the first felony charges: 18-year-old Zamir Yassin, second-degree riot, armed with a dangerous weapon.
Okay. Samir Yassin. This is very concerning. Well, anyone doing that is very concerning.
Namely, fireworks, as well as counts of second-degree assault and fleeing police against a 17-year-old suspect. Fox 9 is not publicly identifying because of his age. Prosecutors write the young man was in a group of 40 to 50 at Boom Island Park, setting off fireworks and directing them at times at vehicles. When a Minneapolis squad car arrived with lights and sirens, the teen and others took aim. It's noted the officers inside feared for their safety, eventually catching up to the suspect, who reportedly attempted to run.
It seems like a lot of kids.
Okay, I have to say, this right here is they have no fear of police whatsoever. You saw, I'm going to repeat it again. You saw Zamir, whatever his last name is, standing there shooting Roman candles at a police officer, and just everybody screaming. And what's being done? Ilhan, what is being done? Okay, Mayor Frey, you've been there 3 terms. What's being done? Not a thing. Not a thing. But let me go back and show you. Let's go ahead and take a look at this again to make sure that we get a firm understanding. Let's take another look, because that right there was dangerous.
The other night,
Look at that.
in this incident, the young male suspect stands there blasting a Minneapolis police squad with what appears to be Roman candles. Authorities report several such incidents as law enforcement attempted to control.
I mean, that right there is completely out of control. So then you got to stop and think. What's not being done? Okay, what's not being done? Okay, go after them, most definitely, but there has to be something. Something has to, be done about the parents. And yes, I'm saying the parents, because this right here is on them. When are you going to grab them and say, hey, now look, America, we already have our problems. We have our problems. But to add extra onto it, that's too much. That is too much. We're trying to get what we have under control, right? But it doesn't stop there. And this right here is on Tim Walz. He is not putting his foot down, saying, hey, this got to stop. Now, again, you have a large Somali community in Minnesota. And you have those that are citizens and that can vote. Now, Minnesota is one of those states that you don't need an ID to vote. You just go there and you could be anybody, right? But it simply doesn't stop there. So now Tim Walz is going through a whole lot. But before I get to Tim Walz, let's talk about Mayor Frey. And this was about 2 days ago, and he has a lot to answer for. Oh my goodness. I mean, it is really going down. He won that where is it at? Oh, there. Okay, I'm sorry. So he has some splaining to do. All right. And that budget, all that money, oh my goodness, $7 billion. But let them talk.
Frey take the podium. So we're going to switch over for a moment here to the multi-faith press conference showing support for the Somali community. Let's listen in.
Backgrounds, ethnicities, and mentalities. But what you also see is a visual representation of love, of resilience, and of strength. What you see is a visual representation of we have your back, and when you come for one of us, you come for all of us.
Okay. Before he goes any further, what about the taxpayer money? When you come for one of us, you come for all of us. Did that right there go along with what the taxpayer money was going to? When that money was going over to different places in Africa, people over there buying big homes in Kenya, big homes in Somalia, sending that money over there to Al-Shabaab, all these other places. So you're not even discussing that and not even holding anyone accountable for that taxpayer money that's just gone. There's no accountability. And these Democrats are being too soft. And they're going to lose big time. They are most definitely going to lose because people are getting tired. They're getting tired of saying, oh, well, even with the people that I talk to, oh, well, you know, they're learning, trying to adjust. Well, you don't come here to start doing that straight off the bat. No, but let's go ahead and continue.
We reject the hateful rhetoric of Donald Trump, but I don't want to focus on him. I want to focus on who we are as a people in Minneapolis. We are a people of 1,000 different backgrounds. We are a people where our Somali Americans have come to Minneapolis, in many cases, decades ago. And I said Somali Americans very intentionally. They are Americans. Yes, right. They are one of us. They are part of our family. They are part of the fabric that makes Minneapolis a better place.
Okay. I'm saying that all this we are one is very new. Very, very new. Many of these people from other countries do not put America first. No, they look at America as a cash cow. They come and work, and the money that we have is sent right out. The money doesn't stay. That money should be circulated within the United States, going to retirement and all this other stuff. That's not what is occurring. I'm not even talking about the theft, the scams, and it's not only Somalia. It's not only that country, those people. There are other people doing the same thing, but however, they're on a hot seat, so you're going to get the focus, right? But many of these people do not put America first. They become citizens and still say, hey, I wave the whatever flag. Okay, Somali flag. I wave the Somali flag. Yeah, America. I really don't. Yes, I raised my hand and took an oath, but I really didn't mean it. Stuff like that. and President Trump, he's taken a hard stance. And I'm telling you, I know for myself, because I live in a DMV area, and let me see, just in DC has about what I think about 200,000 immigrants, 200,000 in a 7-mile radius. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. And when I talk to them, whether if they're African, whether if they're I really don't talk to many Asian people. They just ignore me. I mean, and that's rude, okay? Somebody say hello to you, just keep on walking. But from Africa and and Latin countries, it's basically the same thing. Oh, my country, my culture is the best. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's true, then why did you come here? Well, for the money, for the money. I need money. I come here to work and I send my money to my family. I take care of my family. And then when you start getting into, man, right, there's a completely other video. Okay, completely another video. But President Trump is saying, nah, America first. And other presidents, who was it, Theodore Roosevelt? I can't quite remember. He said that you have to put America first. And if you do not, you will not become an American citizen. You will not gain citizenship because you don't put America first. Now, I have a lot of friends, all walks of life, whether you're conservative, whether if you're left or liberal or middle of the road Democrat, middle of the road Republican, right? Now, on the Democratic left side, and even the liberals are like, well, it really doesn't matter because America did these terrible things, and because they did these terrible things, whatever they do to us, it should be okay. What? So anybody could come here and do anything to us, right? Not looking at the government, not looking at what should. They're in la la land. They are a complete la la land, and that type of thinking really needs to be adjusted, because if you look at it as, well, whatever the United States does, and whenever they come here, I'm not saying have the right, and some of my friends that I talk to, people that I talk to, say, well, I mean, I don't agree with that, but it's okay. It's just simply money. Squeeze me? Just simply money? But let me go ahead on and let him finish talking, because it gets real interesting.
They are doctors and lawyers. They are bankers and real estate agents. They are the people that have helped our city rise in every respect. And what you got to know is that we're going to stand by them in every respect. Right. And so I wanted also just to take a moment to speak to someone that maybe has never been to Minneapolis before. Maybe you've never met a Somali person before. Maybe you're.
I met many of them. Wait a minute. Wait, let me show you. Look, I met many Somalians. I met many Cameroonians. I met many Ethiopians. Oh, I could go down a list. I met some South Africans. I met some Moroccans. All over Africa, I met. And they have the same mentality. And that is simply this. I'm here for the money. And I'm going to take that money and send it over. I mean, I met people from Dominican Republic, Mexico, you name it, on down the gamut. And every single thing is taking money from the U.S. and sending it to the family. Has nothing to do with being an American, has nothing to do with putting the red, white, and blue first. So when you start criticizing Trump, and you may not have many immigrants around you, maybe people. This stuff it's wild. It's wild. And for him to say, look, I get why, okay, I get why Mayor Frey is saying what he's saying, because he wants those votes. And matter of fact, I'm going to show you how far he went to get I'm going to show you how far he went to get those votes. I'll let you see. I'm going to pull up my Instagram page, and you're going to say, Politicians will do anything for a vote, and they will. They will. They'll talk your talk, walk your walk, get that vote, and depending, because sometimes, if you leave them unattended, the politicians will do whatever. But these Somalians, they got them. They said, look, I could have voted for Omar Fateh. He's Somalian, he's my people, and I could have voted for him. We voted for Ilhan Omar, and we could turn this whole thing Somalian. And they got the people, they have the people to do it. And there are a lot of people there that are liberal who will vote just that way, just because it's a part of their ideology. Has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with what policies they're going to put in. It's just that is how they do. It is what it is. But let them continue on. Let them continue.
From middle America or a rural town, maybe you're a white guy like me. I don't want you to just think about somebody else's family or somebody else's faith. I want you to think about your own family and your own faith. I want you to think about what you were doing just a few days ago on Thanksgiving. You had loved ones sitting around the table. Maybe you carved the turkey. Maybe you provided some words of wisdom to your daughter. Maybe the next day you dropped her off at daycare. These are the beautiful moments that every family should be able to cherish. Now picture if you were suddenly extracted from that family that you love. If you were taken away to who knows where.
All right, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and say this. What does any of that have to do with the law and policy? What does that have to do? It has nothing to do with it. If you're here illegally, and I get what he's doing, it's called appeal to your emotions, appeal to pity. Okay. And I gotta say, he's pretty good at it. But if you're not really paying attention, you're like, oh my goodness, he is so right. Carving the turkey. I mean, putting that illusion. Oh man, putting that illusion in your head, and you're thinking, oh man, they shouldn't be deported. They're over there, carving up the turkey, and they value American values, which they don't. They do not. Matter of fact, if you really want to be petty and start picking this, they don't even eat American food. They don't. My mother has nothing but African aids. I haven't had one American aid. I haven't had one for my mom, Latina aid, Latino, none of that. They all have been African, mainly Cameroonian, Ethiopian. My mom never had a Somalian aid, but they don't know how to cook American food, and they don't know anything about American culture. So when you hear him talk like this, and if you haven't really spent 2 minutes talking to the people, you would never know. They come, when they go to church, they put on the garment. When they come out, they look like us, right? They dress like us, but they do not accept the American culture. And what Mayor Frey is doing is deception, complete deception. And I'm pretty sure I may have some Africans or Somalians come in and say, hey, politics, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, really? I don't know what I'm talking about? Oh, please. I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I already know your game. So when people are getting tired of the stuff that you're doing and undercutting, and then say, white people, you're racist, like Ilhan Omar. Oh my goodness. She came out and said, you white people are racist, but her husband's white. I mean, you can't make this up. You white people are racist. Don't point out what we do. And we come from a country who's war-torn and this, that, and the other. And you white people are racist, while in the same breath saying, Black Americans, you don't know where you come from. You don't have no history. They're attacking a split tongue. A split tongue. They're over there attacking white people. You're racist. And Black people, you don't know where you come from. You're drug addicts, you're criminals, and you smoke weed. What? Like you're not over there smoking cat. Please stop. Okay? That's some kind of drug over there. But they have a lot to say. But when you start looking at what they're doing, the underhandedness, all of a sudden, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're being a racist. Oh, you're over there making fun of us, or you're looking down on us. No. We're only looking at what you're doing. We're only looking at what you're doing. That is it. And if that's the first thing what you do, you're over there projecting and throwing all that mess out there. But he doesn't stop. Oh my goodness, this guy, he's trying to vote his butt out. Vote him out.
Who would your daughter learn from? Who would carve that turkey? How would that family ever be whole again? Well, let me tell you, the families and the people that are standing around me are a whole lot like that. They're full of people that love each other, that cherish one another. And so I invite you, come to Minneapolis. We'll welcome you in. We'll share a meal. And every one of us needs to be standing up against this hateful rhetoric, because indeed, when you come from one of us, you come for all of us. We can be a whole lot more unified than some people in the White House would have you think. Words of division are not going to work here.
Man, oh man, oh man. Like I said, if you have not met any of them, you need to ask them, what do they eat for Thanksgiving? Ask them, you know? And I get it. He's working hard to make sure that he keeps the base so that when he runs again, because I'm pretty sure, what's his name? Omar Fatah, I see him trying to become mayor again. And Mayor Frey is doing everything humanly possible to make sure that he becomes mayor again. And if they have more people from Somalia or Ethiopia coming in, they would most definitely vote for him. And he got 50,000 votes, 50 some odd thousand votes. And Mayor Frey, he got 72,000 votes. So there's like a 20,000 difference. So it seems like that people are like, okay, we had him. Let's try somebody else. So people are like, well, not yet. Now, Omar Fateh, you know, he took it well, him not winning, and he didn't win all of the Somali votes. But Ilhan came out, oh my goodness. She came out and said, how dare you not vote for Omar? He's a Somali. You vote for your people. You vote for your people. You do this, you do that. Now, you know how mouthy she could be. Man, you know, I'm going to, okay, hold on. Let me just tell you something. Let me tell you. How can I say this without me putting my foot in it? African women are not outspoken like that. They are meek. And when I say meek, I don't mean weak or anything like that. No. They just understand that they are behind their man, and not that they are behind or less than. No, it's a part of their culture. But when you get women like this, and I'm telling you, I meet people that that lived in Minnesota, and they hate her. They hate her, but they need her to represent them. And no matter how much they hate her, they're going to continuously vote for her, no matter what she does, whether she marries her brother, bring him over here, have him become a citizen, divorce him, and then marry a white guy and turn around and say, you white people are racist. I'm just like, you can't. Oh my goodness. She is just in my opinion, a poor representation of what a Somali woman is. I don't know how. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Let me just shut up on it. Let me shut up. But he continues. He continues.
Words of love will make us whole. We care about you. We love you. All our Somali community is asking for, all our diverse communities throughout Minneapolis are asking for, is that kind of love and respect in return.
Okay.
And so indeed,
Hold on. I gotta bring you back to something. I gotta bring you back to something. Okay. Now he's talking about love and respect, right? He's talking about that. Is this the love and respect that that they're showing? Is this it?
Police squad with what appears to be Roman candles.
Is that what the love and respect that he's
Authorities
talking
report
about?
several such incidents as law enforcement attempted to control crowds of 200 to 300 strong.
And these are the young
Casca
people.
And Boom Island Park.
And it seemed like it's that type of, sort of rapid fire type firework.
And that right there was how they treated the law enforcement. That was a law enforcement. So when Mayor Frey says, oh, love and respect, is that love and respect? Let's go ahead and hear him say it again, because I mean, I don't want you to lose sight of that, because I gotta say he's really good with with the emotional part. He's good with that. Let's back it up just a little bit.
we love you. All our Somali community is asking for, all our diverse communities throughout Minneapolis are asking for, is that kind of love and respect in return.
You can't make this up. You can't make it up. Oh, wait a minute. Laura, inflation is out of control. And a tariff seems to be making it worse. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But what about the $7 billion that left this country? I mean, we really got to take a look at that. We do. And this mayor is saying how they should show the love to them. And I just showed you, are they showing love back? And these are their children, and they're out of control, and they're not grabbing them. And then President Trump is considered a horrible person, when the only thing that he's doing is upholding the Constitution. Now, that would be a different video. A different video, Van 2323. That would be a good thing to. Thank you. That's something for me to look into. But now off of Mayor Frey, Tim Walz. Oh my goodness. He's oh my goodness. He is getting slobber knockered. Okay. He's getting slobber knockered, and people are going after him because he did not. Okay, I'll go ahead and let them bring that video up. I mean, because this is something. I'm like, Timmy Tim. But people are giving him the R word. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, bring that back. Okay, fair use, NBC News.
Welcome back, and joining me now is Democratic Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. Governor Walz, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good to be with you, Kristen. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. Thanks you so much for being here. I do want to start with the tragic shooting of the two National Guard service members in the aftermath of the shooting. As you know, President Trump has responded by vowing to crack down on refugees, including from countries beyond Afghanistan, specifically targeting the Somali community in your home state. He also described you using a...
Oh, real quick. Let me ask you, did the person who shot the National Guard, didn't they come from Minnesota? I believe, and it wasn't only just one. It wasn't just one. There was more than one that did that. But the person who or the people who shot the two National Guards, they were from Minnesota. Please put something down in the chat because I don't remember. Let me bring this up.
Responsibility to put them in a
Sorry
position
about
where they're
that.
protected and they have a clear mission. And so I would express my condolences there. Look, Donald Trump insulting me is a badge of honor for me, but I think we all know.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me
both
bring
as
that back a little bit because I thought I had it up and I didn't. I do
Is
apologize.
derogatory toward people with intellectual disabilities. I want to read for you what he said, Governor, and get your reaction on the other side. He said hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope they'll be left alone. The seriously blank governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both. What is your response to President Trump, Governor?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me express my condolences to the families of the National Guardsmen. They're out there doing their duty. They serve us. As a commander-in-chief of the National Guard and someone who served, we have a responsibility to put them in a position where they're protected and they have a clear mission. And so I would express my condolences there. Look, Donald Trump insulting me is a badge of honor for me, but I think we all know, as both as an educator for a couple decades and as a parent, using that term is just so damaging. It's hurtful. We have fought 3 decades to get this out of our schools. Kids know better than to use it. But look, this is what Donald Trump has done. He's normalized this type of hateful behavior and this type of language. And mainly, look, at first, I think it's just because he's not a good human being. But secondly, to distract from his income.
You notice how he didn't address the gangs or the issues going on in Minnesota. He just glossed right over that. Just listen.
Competency. We know we just came through a Thanksgiving where prices are up. We know people are concerned about heating their homes as we're experiencing blizzards out here. At the same time, he's cutting those programs. So look, we cannot allow this to be normalized. The people who Trump is, like this is language police. You guys are woke. Many times it's just about being decent to people and making them feel included. You can use that word. Sure, you can use that language, but you shouldn't. And that's something that Donald Trump fails to realize. But again, Kristen, this is cruelness. This is meanness. It's aimed at a broader community. And as far as demonizing our Somali community, maybe he could help us on some things. Demonizing an entire community, folks who are in the professions, educators, artists, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, they bring the diversity and the energy to a place like Minnesota. And for him to just randomly decide to do this,
oh man. It is very, very hard for me. Okay, because I was a former Democrat. Now I'm a independent, and I look at both sides and I kick both sides backs in. But when you have someone who's just completely not only missing the mark, whether if it's intentionally or whether if it's just not being aware, he knew what happened on the 4th of July 2 years ago. and I haven't even looked to see if to whether if it happened again, but that was major disrespect towards the law enforcement of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And for him to just act like that didn't even happen, and how them calling him the R-tart word. I don't know why President Trump did that. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, that's awful. That is, he could have said something different, but Trump being Trump is just Trump, right? But let's go back to hear him.
It makes no sense. Do
What I do?
your job, get the criminals out, secure our border, but do it with dignity and respect to the American tradition of respecting immigrants and refugees as a beacon of.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? Okay, let's go back over that. That was a mistake.
And the energy to a place like Minnesota, and for him to just randomly decide to do this, it makes no sense. Do your job, get the criminals out, secure our border, but do it with dignity.
Okay, so secure the border. That's what he's doing. He's securing the border, and then he's going to be deporting people that are in Minnesota, that their temporary protection status is over, that was given by Joe Biden. So when he's doing it, they're not going to want to go. So if they, say, hey, you got to go, what are you supposed to do? Say, could you please get in the car, please? No, they're not going to do that. So it's going to be quite interesting how he is going to react when ICE comes in and starts deporting people. That's going to be quite interesting. Because remember, and they're going to come back and they're going to use this clip and they're going to nail him with it over and over and over again. And then when people start to get deported, watch him start changing his talking points to start looking at the people that he has ignored. I mean, it's going to be quite interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting how he deals with this situation.
In respect to the American tradition of respecting immigrants and refugees as a beacon of hope.
Well, speaking of the Somali community, President Trump is targeting them and your state in part. He's citing fraud as the reason for his crackdown. Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID.
$1 billion. Oh my goodness. It's higher now. But watch his response. Just watch. Now we allow them to come in. And how they think us is by stealing a bit, not fraud and PPP loan. Just watch. Just listen. You can't make this up.
Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can, but to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few.
Oh my good. Okay.
It's lazy. And as you heard Senator Kelly say, this president has cut a lot of inspector generals. He's cut programs that could help us tackle this on. So we'll take it on. We'll put folks in jail. I don't care what your nationality is. I don't care what your religion is, your color. If you're committing crimes, these are programs that were meant to serve students with autism, to housing, and to making sure people had enough to eat. There's a reason Minnesota ranks as the top.
Wait a minute. Wait. No. You're not going to gloss over that. You're not going to gloss over that, because that money that was supposed to go to those autistic students, that money went to some house over there in Kenya and Somalia. Those children, that needed oh my goodness, the PPP loans and housing. You have people that wanted to that needed that money and are still homeless. Governor Walz, look, if you become governor again, I'm just going to say, look, if you vote for this man, hearing what he's saying, and he's tap dancing around the immigrant community because he doesn't have to, he shouldn't at all. He shouldn't tap dance around anyone for votes because he said he's the governor. He's going to put people in jail no matter if they're immigrant, black, white, whether if they're U.S. citizen or whether if they have a green card or not. And that's what he's saying. But that's not what he's talking. Okay, hold on. This guy is slimy as all outdoors.
Lowest childhood poverty, best place for children to live. People are taking advantage of that. They're going to prison. That is totally disconnected with demonizing an entire group of people who came here fleeing civil war and created a vibrant community that makes Minnesota and this country better. But that's Donald Trump.
Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's take something back. Now, this guy right here was the one who brought the Somalis there, right? He brought, what was it, like 30,000 Somalians. 30,000 Somalians that were to Minnesota. They were first down in Florida, now in Minnesota. Now, if they fled a civil war, wouldn't it be in their best interest not to take advantage of the country that gave them a place to lie their head, to be safe, food in their mouths, clothes on their backs, giving them free schooling for their children, getting them jobs and teaching them English? Because when they came over here, they didn't speak English. So I just don't see to where the benefit is. Now, not all of them. No, not all of them. But the ones who are not doing it are not doing anything to make the others stop. They made a hot on the block. And now, after Trump saying, look, I'm going after you, Haitians, 300,000 of you are going, Jamaicans, you're next. Now, all of a sudden, they wake up and say, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't have done that to begin with. That's just, my thought. But let him continue talking, because the more he talks,
deflect, demonize, come up with no solutions. He's not going to help fix anything on fraud. My God, there's a big difference between fraud and corruption is something he knows about.
Well, Governor, let me have you weigh in on.
Wait a minute. Wait. Let me back up for a second. I want to make sure I heard what I heard. People
are taking advantage of that. They're going to prison. That is totally disconnected with demonizing an entire group of people who came here fleeing civil war and created a vibrant community that makes Minnesota and this country better. But that's Donald Trump. Deflect, demonize, come up with no solutions. He's not going to help fix anything on fraud. My God, there's a big difference between fraud and corruption is something he knows.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up. There's a difference between fraud and corruption. Don't they go hand in hand? This guy, you can't look. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Now, I'm not going to call him retarded. I'm not going to do that. No, President Trump already did that. He had no business calling that guy retarded. He shouldn't have done that. He could have been more diplomatic about it. But however, listen to what this guy is saying. And then if you think Democrats, check this out. Check this out. Look. If you think that there's going to be a blue wave coming, right? A blue wave. Think again. Listen to this guy. Listen to the Democratic politicians. The Democratic politicians are not tough on crime. They're allowing them to do anything to the American government. Tim Walz is saying, hey, well, you know, Trump should have did something. Tim, you're the governor of Minnesota. That is your job. That is your job. You need to come up with different laws that encompasses people that do not have status. And if you go back to my earlier videos, these Democratic states, what they did was they readjusted their laws for immigrants to go very soft to let them out. New York is the main one. Chicago, DC, Mario Bowser. You're not okay, man. If you live in a sanctuary city, you know what I'm talking about, right? But let him go ahead and finish. Let him finish.
Knows about.
Well, Governor, let me have you weigh in on this, because part of your initial response to President Trump's post was to call for him to release the results of his MRI. And I want to give you a chance to give our viewers exactly a sense of what you mean. What exactly were you suggesting by that, Governor?
Well, here we got a guy on Thanksgiving where we spent time with our families. We ate, we played Yahtzee, we cheered for football or whatever. This guy is apparently in a room ranting about everything else. This is not normal behavior. It is not healthy. And presidents throughout time have released a couple things. They've released their tax returns, not Donald Trump, and they've released their medical records, not Donald Trump. And look, the MRI is one thing, but I think what's most concerning about this is, as your viewers out there are listening, has anyone in the history of the world ever have an MRI assigned to them and have no idea what it was for, as he says? So look, it's clear the president's fading physically. I think the mental capacity, again, ranting, you know, crazily at midnight on Thanksgiving about everything else. There's reasons for us to be concerned. This is a guy that randomly says the airspace over Venezuela is closed. He's ruminating on if you could win a nuclear war. Look, this is a serious position. It's the most powerful position in the world. And we have someone at midnight throwing around slurs that demonize our children. At the same time, he's not solving any of the problems. So I'm deeply concerned that he is incapable of doing the job.
Governor, a couple more to get to here. I want to talk about the Democrats. You were, of course, the Democratic vice presidential nominee in 2024 because President Biden dropped out over concerns about his fitness for office. Vice President Harris, in her new book, said it was, quote, recklessness for former President Biden's allies to leave the decision about running for re-election up to him and his family. Do you agree with her? Was it recklessness?
People come to us and their teeth are so bad that they all need to be extracted. They all need to be taken out and they need to get brand new teeth. But traditionally, the old way of doing this, it usually can take somewhere.
Look, I wasn't there, Kristen, on this, and I think the president, again, got us through COVID.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at the double standard. Look at that right there. Joe Biden most definitely had a whole lot of issues, and the Democratic Party did nothing at all. It came out that there was an auto pen, but for him to sit there and say what he's saying about Trump, right? He needs to be able to look at Biden as well and criticize him as well. That's all that I'm saying. Okay, that's all that I'm saying. You may say, hey, politics, but Laura, now I'm not on either side. I'm not. But it seems like that the Democrats are messing up way more than the Republicans, and they're doing it big time. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it again. It's going to show that Tim Walz is just flip-flopping. That's all that he's doing. So let him go ahead and finish saying what he's saying.
Us through, brought the economy back from the edge. I think there's question about this, and I want to be very clear. On me talking about the MRI, Ageism is a real thing. Ableism is a real thing that we need to be careful of with people. And I think Donald Trump made a cottage industry out of attacking Joe Biden's competency. And it seemed like that got reported a lot. Now, whether that decision should have been made sooner, history will determine that. What I do know is that going forward, we need somebody in office who's actually going to tackle the things Americans need, whether it's about costs or whether it's about our national security needs and honoring those with our allies. And I think maybe there's a lesson to be learned from what happened with President Biden.
Costs. That has nothing to do with Trump. When you open up a business, you set your price. You raise it, not to say anything crazy amount like what that guy did with the EpiPen. It was like what, like $300, and then he threw it up to like 20,000. No, no, that's when the government steps in and says, "Nah, you can't do that." But for him to put prices on these stores, he has more control over that than President Trump does. By him being the governor of Minnesota, he could go in and say, yo, you might want to lower those prices. You know, he could ask, he could request, but the companies and the stores, they basically have autonomy. This right here is a red herring. He's just saying these things as President Trump or any president would be over that. No, that is a lie. Okay. But let more lies fly out. Oh man, you think Trump lies? Man, he told about 500 already. 500 lies already.
That's the case. It should certainly be applied right now to this president who is putting Americans at risk, is reckless, and is not doing what he's asked to do, make life better for the American people.
All right, let me turn to the future.
Wait a minute. Wait. He is. Wait a minute. What American people are you talking about? Let me show my face. Let me show my good Governor Walz. What American people are you talking about? Are you talking about the people who are illegal and have no status and you're calling them Americans? Is that who you're talking about? Because that's who you're trying to save. You have, look, a lot of these politicians don't give a damn about the American people. They don't. Trump comes in and people hate him. And when you ask them, what policy, what has Trump done to, man, you got me defending. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What policy has Trump implemented that hurt Americans? Well, he called Governor Walz an artard. He called Governor Walz an artard. He called the woman a fat pig. He said, and then you're asking what policy, and they never can tell you the policy, but they can say the things that he said and then equates that to some kind of policy that's governing all of us. You can't call women whose name starts with Rosie a fat pig. I mean, it's crazy and ridiculous. And we need to get back to politics, not all this identity garbage that they're throwing out there, and they need to stop it. But I digress. All righty, let them finish.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris has left the door open to potentially run for office again. Do you still think she's the strongest person to run for president in 2028?
Well, I'm glad she's out there, and I'm glad a whole lot of other people are out there, because I think Donald Trump sucks up so much oxygen.
He didn't answer the question. He didn't answer it. I'll answer it for you. No, it's a yes or a no question. I hate when people do that.
We need to have the Democratic Party out on the field, the broad, inclusive Democratic Party, talking about making life more affordable, talking about protecting freedoms. And I think Kamala Harris does a wonderful job with that.
Again, whose freedoms are they protecting? Because it's sure enough, it's not Americans. They are not protecting American freedoms. No, they're not. They're trying to take them away one by one. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, politics is filthy. It is filthy. And this guy is.
If she chooses to run, that betters all of us. We will have the process. We'll go through. I'm sure there'll be a lot of folks throw their hat into the ring, but that's good. And we need to make sure that we're providing the alternative that America's asking for. If they're going to elect us, we need to make sure healthcare costs come down. We need to make sure prices come down. We need to make sure that we're addressing
Healthcare costs come down. Who was responsible for the healthcare? Who? I'm not an owl. Who? No. Obama. Obama was responsible for the Affordable Care Act. So now you're talking about bringing healthcare prices down. You need to be going to him to fix it, Oh my goodness, you can't make this stuff up. You truly can't.
the things that they care about, whether it's clean water or protecting environment. Those are things they want to see us get done. And I think she had a message last year that I'm proud of. I think, did it break through enough? Obviously not.
Oh, wait a minute. Remember the clean water over there in Flint, Michigan? Remember that? And what did Obama do? He drank the water. Oh, this is fine. This is fine water to drink. Keep on drinking it. Keep on drinking it. The water was poison. I mean, man, I want my 2 votes back. Obama, I want my 2 votes back. I made a huge mistake in voting for you. And I'm not even going to tell you why. It's too embarrassing. Looking back on it now, I am humiliated in voting for him and the reason why I voted for him. And I was a stone cold Democrat, nothing was working up here. It was all stuck. Man, oh my goodness.
But it's still a message that works, making sure that America is affordable for all, people feel included, and we tackle the toughest problems.
All right, Governor Walz, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
All right. I mean, this right here, but let me go ahead and bring this back to you again. Let me bring this back to you because this is what he's talking about. Bring this back. I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to drive this point home. I'm going to drive it home just so that you can get a look of what he's talking about.
In some pockets of Minneapolis the other night, in this incident, the young male suspect stands there blasting a Minneapolis police squad with what appears to be Roman candles. Authorities report several such incidents as law enforcement attempted to control crowds of 200 to 300 strong around Bede-Makaska and Boom Island Park.
And it seemed like it's that type of, sort of rapid.
That's it. That's it. And you have the mayor of Minneapolis saying the same thing. You have the governor of Minnesota saying the same thing. My question is this: what American people is he really helping? I don't see him doing much for the American people. I just don't see it. I don't see him doing much for the naturalized citizens. I don't. I see him focusing only on people that came through Joe Biden. I only see him really focusing, and these are other Democratic politicians doing the same thing, focusing on the people that had temporary status, came as refugees, came as asylees, and asylum. That takes a while because they are deporting people that have been here, 10, 15, 20 years, and they didn't make cut the mustard the first time. They said, no, but come check in every year. And then they still look, see if anything changed. And they're like, look, you're going to be deported. We told you we didn't believe your asylum and you're going to have to go. And then you have all these Democratic politicians saying, no, you got to keep them here. Well, what about the American citizens? What about the people that voted for you to do the job to uphold the Constitution, as you're telling Trump, well, you ought to control the border? You do too. You got to let those people go. And some of you may say, hey, politics with Laura, that isn't right. They had a war going on. Yeah, that was then, not now. And the fact that people that had protective status, temporary protective status, and let's pay, but words matter. Let's pay attention to the word temporary, not permanent, not forever, temporary. You can't make this stuff up. But when Trump called him R-tarded, I can't even say it. I don't want to get dinged, but you know what I mean. Trump, oh man, he shouldn't have said that. I mean, I'm not with that. He could have called him something else, like not a nice guy, a fibber, whatever, but that right there. And in case if you don't know, R-tarded was a legal term to describe the people that what he's talking about. Mentally handicapped people back in the 80s were called R-tarded. They were called morons. Those are legal terminology to talk about people that have that issue. You can't make this stuff up. And you can't sit here and say that nobody has never called somebody an R-tarded. Everyone has. Whether you want to admit it or not, whether if you put your head in the pillow and screamed it, whatever it is, it has happened. But Minnesota is on, it's people are paying attention to Minnesota. I mean, serious attention. And because of that guy, those two guys, how many of those people were that left Minnesota, drove all the way down here to DC and eliminated that shot, pew pew, 2 National Guards that happened to be an immigrant that was on a temporary status. Can't make it up. You can't make it up. You can't. But if the Democrats think that there's going to be a blue wave, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it, as people are being deported. And there's going to be an issue with the voting, because if you don't allow, look. Voting is one of the most fundamental things that American citizens do. And when I say American citizens, I also include naturalized citizens. If you hold a green card, you have no business voting because you have not taken the oath. No, you have to be an American citizen or a naturalized citizen. Now, having said that, the reason why Democrats in these areas are allowing people to vote without a document, without ID. Look, you can't even cash your paycheck without an ID. You can't get into a government building without showing an ID. You can't register your children without an ID. But they allow people to vote without showing an ID. It just shows how many people are leaving the Democratic Party. And they are scared. Yeah, I said it. Scared. They're scared. And scared. And because they're scared, they're doing anything. And the Republicans are going to take over. Now, the thing is this. Democrats, you're talking about all these issues. You had almost 70 years to do the things you needed to do because you want to make America great. All of a sudden, Donald Trump is evil and he is the cause of global warming. The ice glaciers are breaking off and melting because of him. Oh, no. That is a you problem. You're losing constituents because, number one, you lie. Number two, you spend all your time on two minority groups, and that is the LGBTQ. Well, no, I'm sorry, not the LGB. No, they're separate. TQIA, and then you focus on immigrants, namely the ones that came here under temporary status. That's your problem. Now you put all of everything into them. You forgot about the American citizens. You forgot about the naturalized citizens. Hell, you even forgot about people holding green cards that are going to be naturalized citizens, and you ignored all them, took all that money, and boof. And then you expect people to forget that? You expect people that are homeless and didn't have jobs? Oh my good. I mean, the jobs part. Look, I remember when you would go into places like not Walmart, places like McDonald's, retail, that was for high school students and young people, people in college. They had those jobs. Now you have people that, I'm going to say, barely speak English, and they don't have skills. So they are taking those jobs. And where do the young people work? They need to work to act like fools and to get that out of their system so that they can go ahead and go into the workforce after when they graduate. They work at Pizza Hut, whatever it is, through high school and college, and now they're ready to take that degree and then get those jobs. No, you got people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50-year-old people working in these places, and where are the young people, the young American and people that hold green cards that are young, and people that are going to be naturalized citizens and naturalized citizens? Where are they going to work? I don't know. I'm asking for a friend down the street. She asked me. So Democrats, what are you going to do about that? You're focused on a small group of people while you ignoring the greater people. You're not going to get it through osmosis. You're not. Actually, they're going to spray it and and I'm saying, what is this? February. Oh my goodness. What is this? December 6th, Eastern Standard Time, 9:21. There's not going to be no blue wave. The only blue. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it. I just don't see a blue wave happen. I just don't see it. There has been too much bad blood. And then here's the interesting part. I'm going to say this, and I'm pretty sure this person is going to watch it. If not, no, I don't think she's watching it now, but she's going to watch the replay. Yeah, you, right? Check this out. Damn, shit. Should I? I don't feel like arguing with her. Now I'm going to leave it alone. I don't feel like arguing with her. But no, I'm going to say it. The blue wave, it's not going to happen. Like I told you, it's not going to happen for the reasons I just stated. Now, the only thing that's going to be blue is when you drop it in the latrine and flush it. That's the blue what you're going to see. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. I'm waiting for your call. I'm waiting for your call. Why'd you say that? That's horrible. Okay, if you have anything you want to say, come on up. Let me drop the link. I dropped the link if you want to come up and if you want to add something to the conversation. If you don't agree with me, it's okay if you don't want to agree with me. You don't have to. If you have to have somebody agree with you, like some people do, that happen to be on the Democratic side, to where you have to agree with me, or I'm going to cancel you, all this other crazy stuff that people do. But if you want to come up, come on up. You don't have to show your face. You can come on up if you choose to. But I just find Minnesota, it's very interesting, and having that amount of people there and having, what was it, like I said, 40,000 40,000 Somalians in what do you call it, in Minnesota. Quite interesting. Okay, nobody's coming up. All right. On that note, I want to thank you for stopping by.